capture that and go back to where it almost touches the center stone. As far as the front view is concerned, it does touch the center stone. This doesn't really overhang that much. There will be an intersection here. It's wanting to swell and become really, really big in the front view, and it doesn't need to do that. And I had decided that I wanted to put prongs roughly here before. Now, the place to decide that is unfortunately in the side view. But, and these once again will come down and either rest on that or overhang it slightly. And the answer as to which case that will be is going to have to be answered in the side view. So, coming over here, bring that over in my top view. If I take this and I make it less opaque, I can see my template through it. I am actually going to do a new layer on top of my drawing because I don't want to damage anything I've got below, and I want to be free to take some chances, take some risks. So this is actually showing being in line with about here in the top view and standing up quite a ways here, which is a little too much. That's a millimeter. These prongs shouldn't be much less than a millimeter. And I would say that there's enough material here for this prong to sit right there. Back prong. Sit like this. And it also, because of how these lock together, I don't think, I'd have to see it in the model, to be honest with you. I think it'd just kind of fade into the side of that piece of metal and then be able to come up and capture that stone. I don't know for sure. But that indicates it well enough, I think. So, now that I've got that, I know that this prong ends, it doesn't go down into this at all. And that it can just be cut off right there, and then I made it too small, too skinny. fine. So that is essentially the design. I have to mirror over what I just did in the right view to get me all the information I need. But as a design, there are some things that are still missing that I am, once again, just not in love with. I am starting to question this extra wire in here, even though I did it very intentionally based on my creative reference. I'm going to erase it out, keeping my pen to the paper the whole time, just scrubbing it out to see what I think of the design with that removed. I scrubbed it so that I can undo it with one undo. I actually, I think I prefer it. So, that being the case, that being the case, I will close that up like so. This is 2 millimeters. I want to know how big that looks set into my front of my grill. Control copy, Control C, paste, Control Shift paste V. Cool. Good to know. I could fill, let's put that back again. Yeah. I am going to set this in with stones. So I'm going to want 2.5 millimeters. 2 millimeters is, I think, a little bit small. Maybe a 2.2. I'll go for 2.5. I'm going to go with the elliptical marquee tool. If I hold down Shift key, hopefully, yeah, that'll pull me a circle. There's 2 plus. That's pretty good. I'm going to bucket fill that. And then I'm just going to paste it, copy and paste it. Control Shift V so it pastes in the same place. I usually like doing that because it gives me just more precision. I know where it's going to land, and that gives me comfort. Having a hard time centering that. So I just turned those things off so that I could use my arrow key. When you're working this small, guys, you're often 1 pixel away from symmetry, and that's just the way it is. Okay. Back to default. Bring back my drawings. So, symmetry back on. I should be able do that. I think I want to move the whole thing up a little bit. Yeah. There. I want to turn off symmetry for a minute. And just indicate some faceting on this. And I'm having a hard time doing that because I have smoothing on. So quick gestured strokes are impossible because the computer's trying to smoothen them out. There. So I've got that symmetry back on. That was the last use symmetry, very helpful. And now I'm going to try and freehand. Fairly good sized stone. That's probably going to be a 1.5 or so. Anything under a 1.2, guys, looks like glitter. I know commercial jewelry uses 1mm stones all the time, but if you can kick it up to 1.2, it's going to look a lot nicer. 1.5 is not a bad Nelly. It'll hold its own. Even with a little distance, it'll hold its own. Okay, prong this up. Bead, 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 bead. And that's being held. But for design purposes, do I want to put a bead there? No. Do I want to put a bead here? Maybe. It's going to depend on whether or not I decide to set. For now, no. I may decide to set this with micropave. If I do that, then that bead might help take care of an awkwardness right there. And gesture in some faceting. I don't like those facets. That's better. And that's that. Okay, so the only thing I haven't drawn is the top view. And there's some irony to that, given the fact that that's usually the view people want to see most. But I'm going to call it quits for now. This video is well long enough. I'll have to do it in several segments because the actual presentation view on this is likely to be the 3/4 view. And if I have the 3/4, I don't really need the top. But I will still probably develop the top. To develop the top, I would just steal the side view and bring it over. Okay, I talked me into it. I might as well finish this properly. I'm going to bring these together. All of these. Control E to make them one layer. I'm going to grab my side view marquee. That's oval. I don't like that. It's good for drawing circles, but otherwise it's a pain. Control Shift C, Control Shift V. Once again, pattern of habit. I want to rotate it holding down the shift key, I can just use the rotate handle on the outside. Going to take the transparency down, and I'm probably going to go multiply with it. I'm going to bring it up. Something like that, so that I can cheat and borrow its taper for my design. That's really all I want from it, is the taper. And I really only want the taper at the top. None of the taper anywhere else is going to matter to me. So I've got that. Put a fresh layer over the top of it. I should save this. My computer sounds like it's working hard. All right. So there's that. I really don't need to see much of it, right? What's important is that I just keep thinking. I can't just start drawing fast, or I'll make big mistakes. This ended up being a good location for the prong. It ended up being a little undersized for the prong. But not much, that's nice. Before I do anything more, I'm going to turn back on symmetry. I don't know where it went. And actually, I don't want just horizontal. I want four-way. Remember, I can't find it because the brush tool isn't active. No brush tool, no symmetry. Command. Dual axis. Fine. That is so much bigger than I need. You can just grab the handle and shrink it down. If you want to do it non-uniform, hold shift, drag it down. It doesn't really matter. As we pointed out, it works the same no matter what. It's just a matter of graphic representation on your screen and how picky you are about that. All right, so I've got it. We're dealing with that thing once again where I can't split pixels. Good enough. So, now, when I draw, it'll take place all the way around the ring, which is, when we're in a hurry like I am now, certainly a plus. It's a really big looking prong for the size of that stone.